Gen X grew up on late-night warnings.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Scared, straight.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And were inspired by movies that defined a generation.
We're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I feel the need for speed.
We found our attitude in comedy.
I'm Gumby, damn it.
You see that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
And our identity in pop culture.
I want my MTV!
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV!
What you talking about, Willis?
Keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
This is Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhide.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
All right, episode 31. Bill Rowland here, Gary Dollarhide there. He's got his background back with him. If you were with us last week, Gary was in a hotel room, so he didn't have his cool little speakers and everything there behind him, but he's back better than ever, and we are set to go here for episode 31. How did your, before we get into the meat of the episode, how did your CPR training go? You were teaching, we should point out, not that you were getting trained.
Right. We were reteaching officers in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. As part of their state certification, they have to have a level of CPR training above and beyond what we call layman CPR. So
that's what I have.
Right. 3 days, 2 classes a day, teaching these guys how to do CPR. So
do you guys teach them also the tracheotomy stuff? Is that part of it? Okay. You're not going that far down the road, man.
No,
okay.
they get to use BVMs and a few other advanced techniques, if you will. But I mean, we understand we have to teach them that level of certification. But as we taught them in class, the reality is in most cases, and especially in a city like Portsmouth, they're about a 3 to 5 minute bridge till rescue gets there. Right. So really, they just need to use the AED, press the chest, and they're good to go.
Yeah, just don't screw it up until is that what you told them? Look, guys, just don't screw it up until guys like me show up and know what we're doing.
No. But we had fun scenarios, and up until Saturday, I only worked Wednesday through Thursday. There's a cardiac arrest here in the station, and it was always the chief. That was the scenario I set up. And I'm like, I'm supposed to take names of who does not save the chief. So they worked really hard in that scenario.
There you go. Smart. So now how often do you have to go and do your classes then?
2 years.
All right.
2 years on CPR certification.
All right.
But then I'm required, I can't remember. They keep changing the numbers, 70, 80 hours of continuing education in between my 2-year cycle of recertification with the National Registry. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. And is that where they teach you how to do the trachs and everything else? If somebody can't breathe?
So you're given parameters of your classes, like so many medical, so many this. So you may not get that.
Oh, okay.
Depending on what you're doing and what you decide to take.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
They leave it generic, and you just kind of say, okay, well, this class counts to cardiac, and this class counts to this.
I gotcha.
So you get to freelance it a little bit.
I never complained there. I know there are a lot of coaches because we have to get certified every so often for things. And some of the coaches are like, it doesn't change. We know this stuff. So I could probably make a mint asking you to just forge some certification thing that I could just, I would never do that because I think they should be taking the classes, but there are definitely people out there that could be like, if you slip me $20, I got a buddy of mine that could probably sign one off for you, but
there's people out there that do that. But I will say in this cycle, AHA changed their guidelines in 2025. So they changed a few things. So,
okay.
Some updates you may not be aware of, like for instance, the Heimlich maneuver no longer exists, even though we technically still do it. He got in a fight because the American Red Cross, who actually does most of the choking portion, said they want back blows and then abdominal thrust. And
So
Dr. Heimlich,
ribs.
huh?
So you're not cracking ribs. Is that why?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. When you step behind someone, you're grabbing to their belly button and pulling in. So you're not really cracking ribs. And then the back blows is just to try to dislodge whatever it is. But Dr. Heimlich threw a fit, does not like the back blows, and said, take my name off of it. You're not going to call it that. You're not going to use it.
Wow.
So now it's back blows and abdominal thrust.
I didn't even know he was still around.
Yeah. Well, this was a few years ago, and that's, like I said, 2025 is the big change, and that's what we call it now.
All right. I'll have to remember to tell people it's not the Heimlich maneuver anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange.
Impress your friends.
Yeah. We'll call, what's going to impress them? Hey, we're not supposed to call that anymore because the guy got canceled or something.
Right. He was unhappy.
He's unhappy. So he said, take my name off this life-saving thing that he came up with. Whatever. I don't know.
But the theory, but what's funny is it's still the same thing. We're just adding the back blows in there. You just kind of pop them on the back a little bit. So
like you're burping a baby. That's what I mean.
Exactly.
You're hitting them way harder. So
a little bit harder.
Yeah. To dislodge some things. I understand. Speaking of health stuff.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to my guy, Dr. Raymond Wadlow. And nobody's going to know who that is. And that's fine. Well, there'll be some people maybe that know. He was my oncologist for 5 years. For those people who may not be familiar, back in 2020. So I guess it's been 5.5 years technically. But in 2020, I had stage 3 colon cancer. And a surgeon, Dr. Zvetka, who I don't remember his first name. I do know he went to William and Mary because I got him T-shirts. After he did my surgery, I knew some folks down at William & Mary. I said, hey, my surgeon who just saved my life is a William & Mary grad. Can you send me William & Mary basketball T-shirt? So I got one of those for him. Anyway, had to have surgery. They removed almost 6 inches of my right colon, I guess. I don't know if it's right or left. Anyway.
Ascending or descending?
Yeah, exactly.
Or transverse.
I don't remember which one it is, but they took 6 inches of it, just about.
Okay.
Because I had a big giant tumor. You don't realize until you go through one of these things. Well, you do because you're an EMT. Your body has a lot of empty open space.
Yes.
Like you wouldn't think about it, but they were telling me that I had like almost an orange sized tumor.
Mm-hmm.
I had not quite, it was there, but hadn't necessarily attached into my colon or perforated my colon yet, because they said if that had happened, there'd have been major problems at that point. They're like, depending on where you were, and if you were alone, you might be dead. I was like, well, that doesn't sound pleasant at all. But I didn't realize like it was behind the way they described it. It was like there, but like, I'm like, well, why didn't I like orange is a pretty big, like even golf ball. I'm like, how did I not feel it? And they're like, you'd be surprised at things that are like growing that you would never pay attention to, and still start pushing. And I lucked out because I actually had an intestinal blockage that was unrelated completely to the tumor. So I just dumb lucked into.
It was your lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I know. I trust me. I've thought about this many times. That I went in for that. And when they were doing the ultrasound or whatever it is they do, they're like, oh, we got a problem because look what else is in here. So yeah, that's when my doctor was like, and I was like, well, would I figured this out at some point? And that's when he said, yeah, as soon as it popped through your, busted through your colon, you would have figured it out pretty quick. He goes, depending on where you were, that might have been the last thing you figured out is, oh my gosh, something wrong. He's like, because that could have been it if you weren't around anybody or weren't close to a hospital or whatever it was. And I was like, interesting. Thank you. Anyway, so they took that out. I started chemo in, I think, late October of 2020. He was my oncologist, did the whole thing. I got through, it was supposed to be 12 sessions of it. So I get to December. I'm halfway through. I'm down like 145 pounds. I think I've lost like 30 or 40 pounds this whole thing. Feel like absolute garbage. And I remember my surgeon telling me that they got what they call clean margins. And again, you'll know what this means. Other people may not. Basically, what it means is where they cut my colon, they found no traces of cancer on either side. So they got the margins where they cut were clean. The tumor was within the area that they cut out. Is basically how it's explained to me. I'm assuming that's correct.
Yes.
So anyway, so my whole thing was, hey man, like you got clean margins. You've tested the CEA is a blood test they do to check the something level of whatever in your blood. It's all been clean every time we've done these things because I had to give blood every time before I had my chemo treatments. I'm like, I can't feel my feet and hands because I got neuropathy like crazy. My feet and hands are always freezing cold because wintertime. I would have to, if I reached into the refrigerator to grab like, I don't know, say I was getting a Coke out of the refrigerator, something that was cold. I would literally put a mitten on to be able to grab the thing out of the refrigerator, or it could have been like food, anything. If it was cold and my hands touched it, it felt like it was burning. So I would have to put mittens on to get food out of or gloves to get food out. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Let's just stop. Like, what happens if I stop? And he gave me the numbers, and I was like, you know what? We should probably finish this off.
Right?
Because they weren't good. Because I said, what happens if I stop now? I said, what are the chances that it comes back? And he said, if you stopped now, it might be, he goes, I would estimate 65 to 70%, maybe higher, that it comes back. I was like, that's an awfully big number, Doc.
Yeah.
I said, what happens if I finish then? What's my number? And he goes, 50-50. And I'm like, that's still not a great number, by the way. I'm like, that's not inspiring confidence, but it is a third less than the 75% you just quoted me. All right, we'll finish off. Do you need to take that phone call?
No, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't want to keep you from stuff. We can end.
No, it's just people are waking up and wanting to ask questions. So
all right,
let me see if I can
hopefully
make this buzz for us.
Well, it's all right. I mean, it's nothing important, is it? I don't want you. I mean, you're an EMT. I don't want you to be like, dude, don't worry about your heart, your chest being tight. It'll be fine. Give me an hour. I'll get back to you. I don't want anything like that.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not on duty, so there we go. I turned it to buzz. We shouldn't hear that anymore.
Might be an emergency or something. You never know. But anyway, so he convinced me, and it's in retrospect, it was the right move. It's just when you're going through this thing, you're looking for any reason not to have to keep going because it's miserable. Now, I've lost my hair anyway. It has nothing to do with the chemo. I never got sick. I threw up one time.
You were so lucky.
Let me tell you. The entire way through chemo, I threw up one time, and it was literally, and it might have been just nerves anyway. It was literally an hour before I used to have to go with an infusion pack. So this is going to be kind of a long, involved story. Sorry for people. I would go into chemo on Wednesdays. They would put the thing, I have a scar here. Yeah, for my Metaport. They drive that needle into the Metaport and poison me up for a couple hours. And they'd pop it out and they'd replace it with an infusion pack. It's basically a little block. It was maybe, 6 to 8 inches wide. I don't know how big it was, maybe about like that. And it was full of poison. And they would, I wore like a fanny pack. And so it was running and it would pump and pump and pump. And it would go for a little less than 48 hours, usually Friday morning, about 9:30. It would start beeping, telling me that it was empty. And I would drive to the infusion center and they would take it out. And I would see them 12 days later for my next round of chemo. So the only time I threw up was the Friday, the 12th session I had. I had my infusion pack. I'm dressed. I'm ready to go. I'm just literally sitting there on the couch waiting for this thing to beep because it always went off between 9 and 10 o'clock on Fridays. That's when that stuff ran out. And I remember sitting there and I'm like, my breakfast is not going to make it with me to the hospital. It's going to be here one way or the other. And I went and threw up. That was the only time. And I don't know if it was from just being geared up because this was going to be it, or if this finally, my body was like, we don't want to do this anymore. Just get rid of this, that I'd gotten sick. But anyway, so at the halfway point, I wanted out. He convinced me to keep going. So we did, finished it off, rang the bell, which, by the way, this was always something people that have been around cancer, they know when you finish your chemo treatment, They have a bell that you go and ring. It's supposed to signal that you're done. I was not comfortable doing it. And I still have the picture and the video that the nurses took of me doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
I didn't like it at all because having sat there for basically 6 months, because it was every 2 weeks, the 12 sessions, it took 6 months. I saw people there that I knew, everything they knew, and the nurses knew. They were never ringing that bell.
Yep.
That was not that. They were just surviving barely. They weren't going to make it through to the end. So I didn't like it because the bell is right there where everybody else is. It's right out in what they call the bullpen area where literally chairs. There's probably 6 to 8 of you at any one time that have whatever you're getting chemo done. You're there. There was many, many times I was the youngest person at 50, 51, 50 years. I guess I was 49, almost 50 at that point, sitting there in those chairs. So I felt weird to be like, yeah, I'm done. F the rest of you. You guys are all dead. Forget it. You're not going to make it out of here. And I've been told there's also a 50% chance that this was coming back anyway. Am I really done? I didn't like it. So you go, and then every April, including that one, which was now be 2021, I'd go and have a CT scan. They do the whole thing. They inject you. If you've never had a CT scan, they tell you all the time. I'm a pro at it now. I've had 5 or 6 of them. They inject the dye into you, and it literally feels like you have to take a leak.
Absolutely. It's very warm.
Yes. Your midsection gets warm, and you're like, oh, this is different. The first time it happens to you, they try to warn you. They're like, look, it's going to feel like this, but that's not what's going on. Just be aware of it. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then it happens. You're like, that is about as descriptive as accurate as it could be, because that is 100% what it feels like. So anyway, so I go through that. They read it. Everything looks good. And then every 3 months at that point, I'm getting blood drawn. They're sending it out to some lab. I'm a guinea pig because they're sending it to some lab in California, and they're doing tumor analysis on it and everything else. They send it back, nothing. So I was doing that. Finally, fast forward through all of this, just on April 10th, I had my last CT scan. We didn't talk about it last week because I didn't have the results done yet. I hadn't seen Dr. Wadlow yet. They do the last one, same thing. Person goes all the way through it. I said, yeah. I mean, I'm like saying, I'm laughing. I'm like, hey, does the voice still yell at you when you're in the tube? Because what it is, they send you through the little tube, and they're doing my midsection. So my head doesn't quite go all the way in. It's basically from the chest down to my knees, but they have a big, booming voice that goes, hold your breath. And you hold it, and you think the thing goes, and then when it finishes its pass, it goes, breathe. And you're like, okay. So I was joking with the lady. She goes, well, she's like, I can actually change
it.
The voice. I'm like, no. I said, I don't mind the voice. I just wanted to know that it was still the same guy that was going to yell at me the entire time. I was like, this is like having your different voice for your Siri or your Amazon Dot or whatever you have, or you can your GPS, or you can change it to some Australian guy. So I should have probably had them change it just to see what else they had. But
it made me laugh because I know they can change it. And I was about to say, Bill, you're in Northern Virginia. How are you not getting the most up-to-date CT scanner that she can talk Central? She can have an Australian. You could change it any way you want.
I have a menu that I could choose from because I'd like to go to. I'll take option 17. That would have been the good one.
I'd like some Lisa today.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, they do all that, finish the scan, whatever. And usually, my only concern was you get the scan, somebody reads it, it shows up in your My Chart, when you go through, and it'll say, hey, you have new test results, and you can check it. I don't understand what 90% of it is. I just go to the bottom where it says no change. And then I go, all right, cool, no change. Well, I didn't get it on Friday. It didn't get sent out, the results.
Oh.
It didn't get sent on Monday. I was like,
oh.
So I'm like, I'm screwed. They're going to wait.
They're rechecking things.
Something's wrong. They're going to wait for me to get in front of the doctor before they tell me that it's back. I'm like, this is exactly what's happened. So finally on Tuesday, it did show up, and I copy, pasted, put into Chat GPT, and Chat GPT read it off and said, oh, this is what all this means. And everything was fine. So I met with the doctor actually on Monday of this week. And he was great. He was like, well, I don't think I'm going to have to see you anymore. And it was kind of not sad, but he's such a nice guy. I'm like, that kind of sucks that I'm not gonna see him every 6 months. I mean, he's every 3 months for a while, and then last couple of years was every 6 months. And most of the time I'd go in and he'd be like, how do you feel? Feel okay. Everything looks clean. Your blood looks, blood draws look good. We don't have any concerns. And then we'd sit and talk about whatever was going on with UVA, whether it was football season or basketball season, because that's where he went. His son is now down at UVA as well. And so that's usually all we talked about. And this was no different. I don't know what I thought or what I had expected. I didn't know, but he just came in and said, hey, the CT scan looks good. The blood that you sent off to, California, where I'm sure it's in a lab somewhere that they're trying to recreate something. I don't know. They just take my blood every couple of months and I never have to pay for it. So I'm sure there's something going on. They don't do anything for free. I'm sure they take my blood in exchange for doing these tests. I don't know. But anyway, so he said all that was cleaned, and I was like, awesome. And then I said, hey, how's your son doing down at UVA? Told me a couple stories about his son. Great. And he's like, all right. He goes, well, good luck with everything.
Take care.
And that was it. And they were like, hey, thanks, man. I shook his hand. I was like, I appreciate it. Obviously, I said, you obviously did a good job, because here I am 5 years later. We beat the 50-50. We beat the coin toss. I was like, I didn't do anything. Every time you said give him some blood, I gave him some blood. I didn't do anything different. I'm like, I don't know. So I feel very lucky. But it's a very weird feeling to be like, okay, you're basically said you're no different than anybody else now. Because I said, am I still at a high risk? And he said slightly elevated risk. He's like, but honestly, you're no different than anybody else. He's like, when you walk out of here, he's like, you're no different than a lot of your friends as far as the risk. He goes, now you're going to have to be checked more often than them. He's like, you're going to have to do colonoscopies rather than some of these tests, Cologuard or whatever they have for these tests now. He's like, you're going to have to do those a little bit more often. He goes, but no, you're no different. So
but your life insurance rates will go up, but that's okay.
Well, if you have life insurance, Gary, it's a big scam. I don't have it. So,
well, no, I was going to say it has to be an odd situation because, one, from his perspective, the fact that he has that conversation with you, like, okay, take care, is like a great thing for him. Because oncology is so hard because they know there's a depending on what you do, which part, there's a good chance that 3/4 of your patients won't survive. And you have to deal with that on a day-to-day basis. So inside, he's probably glowing because we got to this point with you. And that's the great thing.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. I mean, I was talking to Carrie about it and she's like, was he happy for you? I'm like, I guess. I said, he was just kind of like, hey, man, take care. Good luck. And that was it. And I said, I don't blame him. I said, and she goes, well, I bet he was happy for you. I said, I'm sure he was. I said, but he's not going to sit there and be like, flowers and balloons and stuff. I said, because for all I know, he's got to walk into another room down the hall in 5 minutes and tell a guy he's got 3 months to live.
Yep.
Like that's his reality. My reality is not that. His reality is, like you said, especially because he does colon cancer, he does prostate cancer, he does pancreatic cancer. So that's the one that, like, you're basically telling people, hey, man, there's not much we can do. Like,
because by the time that one shows itself, it's way, you're too far gone.
Yeah. You would have had him being tested, like, again, every 6 months to a year doing this blood test, and people just don't do it because, again, not everybody gets it. So, but yeah, so it's just kind of a weird feeling that, like, it never, like, defined, like, I don't generally talk about this that much because I'm like, hey, it's just, everybody's got their own problems. Everybody's got their own thing that they're dealing with. So I don't need to sit here and run around about mine. I don't, if somebody asks, I'll talk about it. I'll tell them what happened. I'll tell them what I went through and everything else, but I'm not making it my identity. And it's just weird though, now that safety net, if you want to call it, isn't there. because him saying, okay, now you're just like everybody else. Well, I know everybody else from my friends are not getting checked every 6 months to make sure they don't have cancer, which means the next time I figure out I have cancer, it's probably gotten to another point where it shouldn't have. So that's kind of a weird thing where I go, okay, well, normally I'd be like, I wouldn't think about it, but I would know in October, I go, I do another blood draw, I do another blood test. They tell me good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Well, now that's not part of it anymore. I don't have that. I don't have an appointment set up now for October after leaving that one. I don't have an appointment at all for anything. So kind of a weird, it's nice, but it's also kind of weird that net isn't there anymore.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, I mean, I look at it, that doctor, maybe some of the staff, you recognize it. They were in the trench with you for those years.
Yeah.
Right. They weren't just the cashier at McDonald's. They were people in your corner working hard for you, a part of your life. And, cancer aside, now it's all gone. Right. Hey, take care. We'll see you. Right. So it has to be completely weird to just not have those milestones for you on your calendar of getting the test and seeing these people. It's a whole transition phase.
Yeah. And he, like I said, he is probably about our age. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's around our age. Again, he's got 3 kids. One of them, I think his oldest daughter is in her mid-20s now. I think she's out of school now, if I remember. And see, that's the other weird thing. Like, I would immediately started talking to him about, he asked, because the doctors always say, okay, what do you do for a living and everything else like that. So he was one of the ones, him along with my infectious disease doctor were the ones who said, hey, keep doing Mason basketball, keep doing your coaching. Don't change anything in your life. Do as much as you can, because the more normal things are, the better. I remember he told me right from the beginning, he was like, do not go to your chemo when you get your infusion pack out on a Friday. Don't then sit there for the next 12 days and count down until the next time you have. He's like, go do everything you can. In fact, he's like, try to be so distracted that you almost forget that you're supposed to go in for your chemo treatment on Wednesday. He's like, make it so you have to set an alarm or something so you remember to go. He's like, because if you just sit and count down the next day until, now I got 10 more days till I go back. Oh, now I got 9 more days. He's like, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So he was one of the ones immediately that said, don't change anything. And you also have to remember, this was in the height of COVID. This is 2020. And they were still like, don't worry about it. I remember my infectious disease doctor, because I got an infection from the surgery. I had to go see him a couple times. He was the one that, like, I'm sitting in there with the, wound vac and all this other stuff. And everybody in his office, again, this would have been like October of 2020, masked up, the whole thing. He's seeing COVID people and everything else. And I'm like, well, should I not do my high school coaching? Should I not do, my Mason basketball? And he goes, are you like singing in a choir? And I'm like, no. And he goes, you're not at any risk. Don't worry about it. He's like, you're no worse off than anybody else. And I was like, all right. I said, because that's not what other people are telling me. And he goes,
they don't know. Yeah.
He's like, I'm not worried about you.
No.
I said, okay. I said, even though I'm, cancer and chemo, he goes, not worried about you. He's like, you seem like a pretty smart guy. He goes, don't put yourself in situations where, I mean, he was pretty funny. He was like, you ain't swapping spit with people that you don't normally swap spit with. You ain't got anything to worry about. He's like, he said, as long as your girlfriend isn't kissing other people, he's like, I think you'll be okay. I'm like, all right. It's like, if you say that, I'm good. So, but it was just weird. Like, so from the beginning, whenever I saw Dr. Wadlow, it was always, hey, how are things? How are your kids? Like, I just wanted to have a regular conversation with him all the time. So it was weird to, like, I didn't watch because I've never met his kid, but his son graduated high school. The stories. Got into UVA. Like, yeah, I mean, he sent me when UVA beat, I think, Florida State maybe earlier this year. I don't remember which game it was. It was right a couple weeks before I went and saw him in October. And he was telling me about, he's having a great time. And that, did you see him storm the field and everything? And I was like, yeah, I saw the video that he goes, I've got it. And he was trying to find it on his phone. He couldn't find it. He goes, my son taped it when they did it. He's like, I've got it. And he couldn't find it. And I leave, and like 2 hours later, I get a text message from this number that I don't know who it is because I didn't have it before. He sent me the video of his son and friends storming the field. He's like, hey, we talked about this. I just want to make sure. So I'm like, okay, like this dude isn't just like making this, like, not, I didn't think he was lying, but he's not just like telling me this stuff to like pass the time. He like actually wanted me to see like, hey, he was happy about it. So it's just kind of weird that, I don't know. I feel like, not that I've lost a friend, because like it's not like we went to dinner or anything, but it's like I was a guy that I could, like be like, hey man, that's pretty cool. Your son stormed the field at UVA. So I told him, I said, next time your son does something crazy, I said, please send me the video. And he just kind of laughed. He goes, yeah, he goes, if they do it again, he goes, I'll let you know. So I don't know. It's just kind of strange.
Well, and that's what I said. These people, especially the physicians you've interacted with for so long, and they engage you, they talk about what's going on. You do sort of get to know each other in those situations versus a standard practice. And yeah, I can imagine it's weird that all of a sudden now, okay, we're all done. Shake hands. Goodbye.
Right. It's like, you'll never see me again. It's like one of those things. It's like, that's the thing is, I hope I don't ever see him again for the reasons that I was seeing him before. If I ran into him out in the wild somewhere, I'd be thrilled. Yeah. I'd be like, hey, Doc, it would be awesome. But yeah, it's just kind of strange. But
it's good to hear that, because I know from interacting with some of the oncologists that we have at our hospital, the psychological importance of fighting through, good or bad. When people just give up, it just destroys everything in their life versus giving themselves a chance. So it was good to hear that, like you said, keep doing what you're doing, do it twice as hard. Don't sit and think about it. Because in my own experience, there was a woman I knew that was a coworker, and she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer at age 52. And they didn't give her like 3 months right? They just kind of said, you have it, we got to treat it. She was gone within 3 weeks, locked herself in her house and just kind of shut down, and that was it. And so that example, and that was even before I got in this field, just showed me how important your mental status is with dealing with these and fighting through whatever adversity it is medically.
Yeah. Oh, they tell you all the time, the positive attitude is the main thing. And I would have, when I would go in for chemo or whatever, the nurses would always say, you come in here with the same, like, again, it's not I don't want to say it's a compliment or anything like that, but they're always like, you never seem upset about, they're like, whatever it is. I was just like, it's kind of like what I've said before. My dad only gave me one piece of advice the entire time I remember. I never got the sex talk from my dad. I never got any of that stuff from my dad. The only thing that he always said is there are things, and everybody says this all the time about, there are things that you can control in life. And he equated it to having a flat tire. He said, you can pull off the side of the road, you can be pissed, and you can be angry, and you can be like, cursing out the construction site where you got the nail or whatever. And by the time you've done all of that, you could have changed the tire and moved on. And he's like, everything in life, change the tire and move on. Do not dwell on why it happened, what caused it to happen.
What could have prevented it.
Right.
You can't dwell.
You can't. He's like, you can't go back and not hit that pothole. You hit the pothole, you popped your tire. Change the tire and move on. Understand what happened, but also understand that dwelling on it won't get you further down the road. And so that's kind of the way I looked at it when I was doing chemo. I was like telling him, like, I can't change it. Like, I had it. Like, I've got it. So what's the next step? That's what I used to tell them all the time. And they laugh at me because I'm like, okay, well, what's next? What do I do next? What do I have to look forward to next? What's going to happen? And they're like, just get through this. I'm like, no, I need to know what the next thing is so that I can kind of mentally prepare for it. Like, what is going to happen? And this was while I was, again, dropping weight. And I got down to, like, I think the lowest I was during it was like 142 pounds. And I mean, that was just looked terrible. It was gross. And I remember one of the nurses came to me and she said, you know, your weight is way down. Like, you've lost a lot of weight. And I'm like, yeah, I look good. I mean, like, I'm joking around. I'm like, well, I need to drop a few pounds. I said, I wouldn't recommend the cancer diet to people, but it is pretty effective. And she laughed and she goes, that's great. She goes, but you're through 6 treatments. She's like, if you keep going, she's like, you're going to be down to like 120 pounds. And she goes, now that's not safe. She's like, you would have lost way too much and you're not. She's like, what are you eating? I was like trying to tell her. She's like, why are you eating that way? You know, like it was like barely anything. I'd be like, I'd eat this, but not much. She goes, do you feel like you can eat? And I said, no, this is kind of like they told me to avoid this. And she's like, no. She's like, okay, I'm not your doctor, but she's like, I've done this long enough. She's like, you need to be no lower than this weight. And she goes, I would like for you to put on at least another 10 pounds before you finish. She's like, so however you can accomplish that, she's like, go eat like a teenager. She's like, eat any and everything that you can. She's like, if you can get it down, eat it. And she's like, the more protein, the better was her main thing. And she's like, what's your favorite things to eat? So I was like, naming stuff off. She's like, here's what I want you to do. Cause this is in December. So it's football season. She goes, Sundays, when you're sitting around watching football, she goes, either buy it during the week. She's like, if you want to get takeout, she's like, get like a plate of 20 of your favorite wings. And she's like, just sit there and eat all of them. She's like, as many as you can put down. She's like, crush them. She's like, because if you enjoy it and you're watching football, she's like, you won't be thinking about it and the protein will help you. And so that's what I did, like all through the playoffs and everything else. And by the time I was done, I think it was up to 155, 160 pounds. And she was thrilled. She was like, she's like, you came through this awesome. And of course, she's the one that made me ring the bell that I didn't want to do. So,
well, see, the bell's all part of that psychology, right? It's a goal, and everyone sees it. You know it, like it's part of the system.
I would have rather rang the bell when I walked out of his office on Monday. To me, that's when I don't see you anymore. You are 5 years. You're now officially in remission. Go ring that bell. That to me would have made more sense.
You could have rang it again.
Well, no, they didn't
stop you.
Well, no, the bell isn't in the office.
Oh,
the bell
okay.
Fusion Center. That's
I see.
You ring the bell right in front of everybody else. Like there was literally, as I'm ringing it, I can look 10 feet behind where the nurses were, and there are 4 or 5 people that are still getting their chemo stuff. And I know a couple of them ain't coming out because you know after a while, because especially when you're going at the same time every single week. So mine, I was always there. It was 9 a.m. on Wednesdays, and I would see the same people every single week. I know that Mr. Keith, I don't know what his last name was, but I remember Mr. Keith, this old white guy. He was a World War II vet. Mr. Keith came in at 10:15 on Wednesdays. I was always on my last pack when he came in to get started. And Mr. Keith didn't show up after I had seen him for about 5 or 6 straight weeks. And yes, Mr. Keith had passed away. And that was just the reality of you saw the same people. You didn't talk to them. Nobody really talked to each other, but you knew acknowledged each other because you saw them. You're like, oh, okay. So like when I first got there, I'm sure everybody's like, oh, new guy, that kind of thing. So yeah, it was just kind of weird. So I felt bad when I'm like, because I like went up and I was like, ding. And then nurse like, no, you got to. She's like, you got to really, you should be happy.
Be mad at it.
And I'm just like, yay. I mean, I still go back and watch the video. I'm like, you can tell I do not want to be doing it at all. Just like, yay, okay, I'm out of here. So anyway, all right, enough of that. I just want a long way to go.
It's a big congratulations because it's a big moment to reach this point. I mean, like you said, it's one thing just to finish chemo and stuff, but you're at that point now. Like you said, you're kind of released back into the wild, and
I'm not tagged anymore,
quote unquote, kind of like the rest of us. And that's a fantastic place to be.
Yeah.
And especially in your situation where, I mean, to this day, I still tell people like, there was nothing. Just one day you had that, you said you had the abdominal pain. They went in to look for one thing, and oh, by the way, here's this thing.
Yep.
Like what an amazing turn of events that turned out to be.
Yeah, it was in COVID. I was coaching the high school basketball team. We weren't allowed to be in a gym or use a basketball. So we were doing just regular, basically conditioning stuff. We were having to do sprints. We were having to do planks, all that stuff. And I was out there doing a lot of the planks with them. I wasn't doing the sprints. My knees and ankles. I couldn't have, even 5 years ago, I couldn't do the running. But I was doing planks with them and making fun of them because I had just turned 49 and said, ladies, there's a 49-year-old old middle-aged guy completely out of shape that can do planks better than you guys can. This is a problem. Like, you need to get better. And went home that afternoon and was like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything to them. I don't feel so hot. I walked the dogs and came back. And again, that night was just miserable, throwing up, everything else going on. And by 6 o'clock the next morning, I was like, I got to go to the hospital because I've never been in pain like this in my life. And it had nothing to do with the cancer.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part about it. It had nothing to do with the cancer. So anyway, all right, moving on. We usually go back and look at some things that happened however many years ago in the Gen X generation. And it just so happens 41 years ago today, April 23rd, 1985. I'm sure most of you will not be able to pull that just from that date, but you will remember this. This, Gary, was the debut of one of the worst marketing ideas perhaps in recorded history. This was the debut of New Coke.
But was it? Was it? See, everything says, oh, they made a mistake and they turned it in. I'm like, was someone just that smart that said, look, we're going to put this garbage out here, create all this turmoil so that we can re-energize Coke? Because the big thing was why they did it was sales have been dropping off.
Yep.
And someone said, hey, we got to do something different. So I have to look at it and go, well, did they want to come up with a new Coke because it was really the plan? Or was the plan to, again, put something out there that wasn't great to make people clamor for the old Coke and bring back the original formula? I mean, I know supposedly it was the blunder, as we all talk about, but I still have my questions of what the real intent was.
Do you think, though, that by now they would have come out and been like, oh, yeah, by the way, we pulled a fast one on you guys? Or are they just going to stick with the story and that's just going to go down in Coca-Cola lore? Because there's even a section on their website that talks about New Coke, and the headline from their own website even says, New Coke, the most memorable marketing blunder ever.
Right? There's certain things that lend you to believe that this was constructed specifically to do this. But again, it could be the blunder of the century that worked. I mean, most recently, I look at Cracker Barrel. Not that they're having the success, but, we're going to change it. And then what happened? The media, the people, oh, no, bring back the old, what we're used to, what we liked.
Right.
And so they were starting to do a little bit, but not a lot. You know, at the upper echelons of management, where they're going, hey, what if we New Coke this thing?
I just see, I mean, maybe, but I just feel like they actually, because they seemed honestly surprised.
Yeah.
The backlash that they got. Like, it honestly took them aback, because remember when people first started going at them, they tried to defend it at the person who made it, all the logo, they tried to defend it to the end. And hey, maybe that's what you have to do to convince people that you actually believe in it. But I think they did. Like, I think they were surprised. Yeah, like, wow, people really, really don't like this new logo. Like, we really screwed this one up. The Coke one, like you said, they were losing share to Pepsi a ton. And I think they tried to go, because New Coke was a little bit sweeter,
which is more aligning it to Pepsi.
And I think a lot of that's what they thought that people wanted, and then they figured out that no. Maybe I'm a little biased in this, because if I have my choice, I'm taking Coke over Pepsi, because I'm the same way. I don't drink any of them. I do all the like Coke Zeros or Pepsi Zeros or whatever now. For obviously, we just talked about me having cancer. There's a lot of reasons why, but but even back when I was a kid, if I was going to pick between Coke and Pepsi, I would take Coke every single time. And I remember there was a family in our neighborhood that was a Pepsi family, and I didn't understand that at all. I was like, you're communist or something. Oh, what's going on up there at that house? But all they serve is Pepsi. I don't like it. So,
no, if I remember right, because I remember doing a study of this when we were in school, they had done a lot of taste tests because they were trying to alter it to be closer to Pepsi. And they had all this research that said, oh, we did these tests. And come to find out afterwards, take it for what you will, it was what they said sip test. So they would give it to so many people. Here, try this, like in a sample cup, right? We're talking like minutes. People like, oh yeah, that tastes good. That tastes better. So there was questions on how they conducted their taste test research that kind of got them off on their alignment of, oh yeah, people really like this. But then the reality later, they said when people would actually drink it, like a full can or something, like, they were just going, no, not that good.
Right.
And that was one of the mishaps in their whole setup to make the change.
Well, and they were also having the that was when Pepsi was doing the Pepsi challenge. Mm-hmm. Remember, they'd have it and you turn around and be like, oh, you thought you were drinking. I mean, Pepsi was really doing a good job in the Cola Wars. That was the thing that started with all the rock stars. You were either a Coke or a Pepsi person and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That was huge. People don't understand that now and nowadays, because I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think a celebrity necessarily drinking a soda, a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever is going to move the needle like it did back then. I just don't think it would.
No, I mean, how much did they spend Pepsi to get Michael Jackson to do Pepsi
and catch his hair on fire?
So, yeah, and then Pepsi gave away the jet. We all remember that contest.
Was that Pepsi that did that?
I thought it was Pepsi did the MiG Fighter, and then they reneged on it and said, "Wait, you understood was a joke. We weren't going to actually give you a award."
And the guy was like, "No, I didn't."
The guy sued
him, and he won.
Yeah.
Was that Pepsi?
I was pretty sure that was Pepsi, wasn't it? Can you look that up real fast?
I'm looking it up.
I don't think it was a Coke. I'm pretty sure it was Pepsi.
Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, PepsiCo. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. That was 1996 Pepsi stuff promotion.
Right.
TV commercial jokingly showed a student landing a Marine Corps AV-8 Harrier jet, valued at $37.4 million, and you had to get 7 million Pepsi points. The company ended up refusing to honor it after the guy John Leonard raised $700,000, purchased the points, and sued PepsiCo for breach of contract. That's pretty funny.
But the Cola Wars, I mean, you're right. I think part of the reason is, if you think about it at that time, there was really just Coke, Pepsi,
a
little bit of Sprite, a little bit of Mountain Dew, Dr Pepper floated out there, RC float. There wasn't a lot. Nowadays, I'm just blown away. Not that I drink a lot of soda. You walk through and it's Starry, it's this, it's that, and
I know
it's
and
just
they're all owned by the same people.
So yeah, it's just really, instead of two head to head, they're just fighting for the market share with their whole line of water, sodas, and everything else.
Right. Well, now as I'm looking this up, it's funny because, and I'm part of this because I drink on the rare occasions that I do, because I don't drink a lot of, again, sodas anymore. But Dr Pepper is now tied with Pepsi for number 2.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you what, you get yourself Dr Pepper Zero, and they have it in cherry, and they have even a blackberry.
I like the blackberry.
The blackberry Zero from Dr Pepper is delicious.
Yes, it is
really good.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, I have to try this. And sure enough, I was like, hey, we've done something good here.
Yes. So if they want to send us a case or two, but that's fine. I'll promote them. But yeah, I would still go probably Coke, Dr Pepper, and then if I have to, I went to lunch at a Buffalo Wild Wings the other day. They're Pepsi Corporation or whatever, group. And I was like, the guy's like, what can I get you? And I was like, do you guys do Coke Zeros or anything? And he goes, I got Pepsi Zero. I'm like, fine. Like, if that's That's all you got, I guess. I guess that'll have to do. It's fine.
We'll see. I've gotten to the point because the zeros, except for like fast food, haven't gone into most restaurants. At least I'm seeing.
Yeah, Sandy, you got to get diet then.
So I look at them because I don't remember. I don't pay attention. I say, whatever your diet cola is, bring it to me. Diet Pepsi, okay? Yep, I'll accept it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
a choice. Like, no, I want you to go across the street and get me a Diet Coke because Diet Pepsi is not going to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to know the restaurants, like, you knew like Pizza Hut was a Pepsi. One. You knew McDonald's has always been Coke. Trying to think of some of the other ones.
Taco Bell's Pepsi.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because Taco Bell Pizza Hut, it's owned by the same company.
KFC's still Pepsi. Don't know what Wendy's is. I think it's Coke. Wendy's is Coke.
Wendy's is Coke. And the Wendy's near me.
Yeah.
I just figured this out the other day because we just moved here last July and I hadn't been to this Wendy's yet. I went in. I always love a good, not the fountain, but what do they call it?
The electric machine.
Yes, the whole machine would be like, not only do I want a Coke Zero, I want a Coke Zero Peach. Or I want a Coke Zero Vanilla. Yeah, whatever that contraption is, I love that contraption.
No, when that first came out, I was in love with the same reason because you could get the Coke, Diet Coke, obviously Zero's in now, and you could add the different flavors and try all the different things. Similar to that, which I've enjoyed, my convenience store of choice, Cumberland Farms, if you go to the right ones, they have a similar version of that, but smaller. Now you can only add vanilla, lime, lemon, and cherry, but you can pick whatever and then fill it with the extra flavors in the same manner. I use it mostly because you can get the carbonated water plain and then add in the cherry, the lime.
Okay.
And it's just, I love that. But yeah, they should have those. The machines seem like they peaked and now they've kind of gone away. I haven't seen them as many places as it seemed like at one point.
Yeah, like I said, I know this one Wendy's near me has it, and I hadn't been in there. I mean, I guess maybe I'd gone through the drive-thru on occasion, but for some reason I went in the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys have a freeform machine or whatever they're called. I don't remember. I was like, I definitely
press the bottle cap.
Yeah, I'm
just pictures of the bottle caps. But and it was interesting because I know Sprite, because that I did some experiments with the Sprite, right? You get the lemon lime, but now you can add a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Because Sprite was always too sugary for me. Like I would just go, oh, this is awful. So getting the machine to be able to add some different flavors to it, made it more palatable. Because, I don't know about you, sometimes. And I'm the same. I don't drink a lot of dark colas anymore. It's more of a treat thing. But I want something different besides a dark cola all the time.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So with the new Coke, do you remember like again, we grew up, we were a Coke family. And I just remember being like, this cannot, like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do because it was so awful. I mean, I mean, it was really bad. I'm like, I can't. I was beside it was the first time I remember really being like, they have ruined this. Like, I never experienced that before of like, wow, they ruined this. Now we have all the time with like reboots of movies and television shows. Well, you guys ruined this. They ruined Coke for a lot of people for like 3 months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it, Coke at the time, even more, it's an American icon. Yes. And all of a sudden you just kind of, nope, this is no good anymore. We're getting rid of it and doing this. It just on a surface level upset some people. I mean, I imagine there was people who didn't drink Coke that said, hold on here.
Yeah.
It's like putting bumper stickers on the Washington Monument. You just can't do that.
Right.
But no, I remember I did not like it. And then it was, granted, it was 3 months, felt like longer than. I said, I guess we're drinking Pepsi now because whatever the concoction was that they made, I didn't even like that. So it kind of left me with, well, I guess it's going to be Pepsi now if this is what is going to be their core beverage because I did not like it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you talking about the Cracker Barrel thing earlier. Look, I think I've eaten a Cracker Barrel maybe once in the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't particularly have anything invested in Cracker Barrel as far as that goes. But I was kind of like, why are you messing with the logo? Like, don't mess with the logo. Just leave it the way it is. But I feel that way even like when sports teams and stuff like that, when they start tweaking things, I'm like, what was wrong with the old logo? Like, what's wrong with the traditional? Like, for instance, everybody knows I'm a Red Sox fan. Obviously, you can see it behind me here. I hated when they did the City Connect uniforms and they were yellow and that light blue. I don't know if you've seen them.
I saw it the other day on TV. I was like, whoa.
They work for it's basically it's because I think it's the colors of the marathon.
Yeah.
Like that they use for it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I kind of get it, but you're not the marathon. You're the Boston Red Sox. It's in the name. Red. Nowhere does it have yellow or blue. I hated that when they started doing it. I can't stand it. I don't mind the alternate jerseys that they wear sometimes, especially in spring training. They'll wear the green ones for like, especially on St. Patrick's Day, they'll wear them. I'm like, okay, that's every once in a while you want to bring that out, or the red tops that they'll wear every once in a while, as opposed to the grays that they wear on the road or the whites. Okay, that's fine. But yellow and blue, it's awful.
Just
and it's
outlandishly out of left field.
It's because I'm a traditionalist. You don't need to change it. Everybody loves what you have now. Why are you changing it? So I don't know. That's where I'm on. That's where it was on New Coke. Why are you changing it?
Well, it goes, it's one of those things from some of the marketing classes I've been through, it's about consistency, right? And that's what we're told. But then people get this wild hair that go, well, no, if we flip a change, it'll be exciting and new. I mean, look at Jaguar. Remember the ads that came out, I think, earlier last year before? You think Jaguar, you're thinking old school British, like muscle car. And then whatever their imaging was, someone said, hey, let's flip this and try this because it's new and it's trendy. And remember, I don't care who they were, but it was just these weird colors and weird dancing. And I go, how does that liken anything to a car that I want to drive? Right. And of course it failed. I think they lost 90% of sales, and I don't know if they've recovered yet or even tried to, but people just want to get too cutesy in making changes. And I think the answer is always moderate tweaks. You can do that. Like you said, Red Sox, right? This is their uniform. This is what we do. Hey, we'll throw a green shirt out there in St. Patrick's Day, or we'll swap out this color a certain time. But
on Sundays or something.
Yeah. These wholesale changes just because it feels good and we should try this, and it never seems to work out.
Yeah, I mean, and I get, updating uniforms and stuff. Like the Commanders just updated their uniforms. They, released them a week ago, and they actually did a pretty good job. But you know what a lot of people said? It reminds them of the old Redskins uniforms. Oh. So that's where they did it right.
Almost a full circle back.
Traditional thing. So I mean, right? That's they did the smart thing and going back to it. Mm-hmm. I don't understand when people start messing with all these different things and logo changes, and it's like sometimes you're better off just leaving it the way it was, because that's what people have liked, have grown up with, they're used to it. You don't need to do a whole new branding thing because some 25-year-old kid that was an intern 3 years ago went, it would look really good if you put 3 or 4 extra stripes here and change. It's like, no, what looks really good? What people have been putting on their hats and jerseys forever. Mm-hmm. That's going to look pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it, you can give some leeway to Coke, right? We're losing market share. We got to do something. Maybe it's the formula. Okay. There's some basis to that. When a team starts changing with their logos, I go, well, did people stop buying tickets? Did people stop coming to games? Is that really the problem here? Is your logo versus, I don't know, put a winning team on the floor? Same thing with Jaguar. It's like, why are you not selling enough cars? Well, is it designed? Is it something else? Nope. We're going to just change our whole look and logo because that's going to sell. It's not going to sell, Mark. I just don't believe it.
Right. Yeah. I'm 100% in agreement with you, because a lot of times you look and people change stuff. And now look, there are times when you sit there and go, oh, well, the reason they changed this is because now everybody's gonna have to go out and buy the new stuff. So all of a sudden you get this influx of I guess fresh
revenue,
cash or whatever. But the thing is, you also end up making a lot of people mad. They're like, I'm not buying that new look. I'll just wear the old stuff. And then they don't buy anything new. So, I mean, it's one or the other, I guess, and depending on what it is. But it's baffling to me, because I remember like when the Capitals, who their primary colors were red, white, and blue, obviously watched the hockey team here in D.C. I can remember when, I want to say it was maybe the late 90s or so, they changed to this like pewter blue and gray. It was like really odd looking like color scheme. It had no red in it at all, and it looked awful.
Like the Wizards, because the Wizards did all that too. It's kind of same color.
Same time. Yep, yeah. It was the same time when they did it. And I was like, this is not good. And then, of course, they drafted Ovechkin, and it becomes the Rock the Red era, and they got rid of those uniforms. And nobody has ever gone back and say, boy, wouldn't it be nice to have a throwback of
Bring
those?
the teal back.
Oh, so bad. So bad. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing is you can do throwbacks and stuff like that, but it has to be good. It has to be a good throwback uniform. I mean, the Red Sox and other teams have updated their uniforms and stuff, but
you can tweak them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Tweaks are fine. Right, but you don't change the interlocking NY if you're a Yankee fan. You don't take the pinstripes off the home jerseys. That's a thing now. They're talking about changing the jerseys, and the Yankee players are like, we'd like to have an alternate jersey, because the Yankees only have their home whites and the road grays. That's it. They don't wear anything else. No names on the back, the whole thing. And now some of their players are like, well, we'd like that. We don't have a City Connect. We'd like to have something different. Okay.
Go play somewhere else. Go play somewhere else.
And with that tradition there, those people are crazy. So,
yeah. I mean, I one stands out in my mind, the whole Wizards. I mean, I understood we don't want to be the Bullet. I thought there was a million other better names than the Wizards. And then, of course, like we said, it went to that weird color scheme of this rust and teal, and like you could change your mascot, but you're the nation's capital. You can still be red, white, and blue in your uniforms. Right. Like it just boggled my mind what they were doing.
Yeah. Well, I worked for the organization when that name change went down.
Okay.
It was not legit. I'm not breaking any ground here. Everybody knows that it wasn't legit. Everybody, I mean, this has been talked about for years. Look, one of the names was Sea Dogs. Was one of the final. I think it was like the Washington Stallions, the Washington Sea Dogs. They were all awful names. Yes. I remember when they had the whole naming contest. And the only reason it ended up Wizards is because Irene Poland, Abe Poland's wife, that was her favorite of all of it.
Ugh.
So that's how it won. They just made the other one suck so bad that you didn't have a choice but to choose Wizards at the time. So,
I mean, they could have had the Washington Commanders back then, right? Yeah. I mean, it just certain things make sense, and we just deviate. That was an example. We just deviate. We change colors. We go something that makes no sense to the city. It could have been the Monumentals. I mean, there's a million other things you'd come up with that made sense. Now, Sea Dogs, people here in Portland, Maine would be upset with you because that is our minor league baseball team, the Portland Sea Dogs. So
no, but they've had that for like there aren't Sea Dogs in Washington. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
So, it was almost like the other year when. And there's a whole other thing, but W changed their name from the Colonials to Revolutionaries. So you went from celebrating George Washington to Che Guevara, I guess. I don't know, but one of their ones was Fog, was going to be when it's like that's what are you going to dress your mask up as? I mean, it's just going to be a big cloud. Like I don't. What were you going to do?
Cloud running around.
I think hippos was another one that was on their list, which I'm like,
yes, I remember. Yeah, the hippos. Again, how does this make any sense to the institution, the geography? However, I saw this the other day. Maybe you did the top 10 high school mascots in the United States.
No.
Number 1.
Tigers.
No.
Oh.
I think they're in Illinois. Polka High School. The Dots.
That's pretty good.
Right? POCA.
I was thinking what the most common.
No. It was just the most, I guess, entertaining, if you would. So
that's pretty good.
The Polka Dots were number 1.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? Because it just makes complete sense. Go with it. Keep it forever.
Love it. Banana slugs out there in, Cal, right? Was it Santa Barbara, right? Aren't they the banana slugs, I think?
Yes, that they had to change. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Nicknames, do whatever you want as long as it makes sense to the actual school and everything else.
Correct.
But yeah, to just call yourself the Fog. I'm glad they didn't do it, but they should have never changed it to begin with. So what are you going to do?
Reminds me of a nearby high school growing up, Lee Davis in Mechanicsville, Virginia. The Rebels.
Probably not Lee Davis anymore.
Not that anymore.
There's a Lee High School right across from Springfield Mall.
Yes.
That when I grew up, it is now Justice, I think. Stewart High School, Jeb Stewart is no longer around. That was over in Falls Church. I forget what they've changed their name to now, but they're not around anymore. This is one that didn't make any sense to me, and I coached there for 4 years. George Mason High School in Falls Church changed their name. They're no longer George Mason. They were the George Mason Mustangs. It's fine. Now they're Meridian, which is just, I don't know. They're just Meridian for whatever reason. Dumbest, they're like, well, we can't. We've got to get rid of George Mason. He didn't do anything good. He didn't come up with the Virginia Bill of Rights, which is what the American Bill of Rights is based on. No, he didn't do anything good. It's like you're judging people on the rules and ethics of today from 250 years ago. Like literally now 250, like what do you think 250 years from now people are going to look back at us and be like, well, these people were idiots. Why would you think this way? That's going to happen about something because whether these folks want to believe it or not, you don't have everything correct. You're not right about everything. There are things that you're doing now that 250 years from now, people are going to look back and go, you are a bunch of weirdos. Kind of like they did like we do with slavery now. We get it. It was awful. It happened. Doesn't mean you can't still have people on buildings. They did really good things. Like if you're going to do that, you should just get rid of anything that's ever named ever because there wasn't a single person that doesn't have some skeleton in their closet. Yes. It's so dumb. But yeah, they renamed it from George Mason to Meridian. So dumb.
Again, if you're going to change it, what does that mean? Like to the school, to the area? Like
spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to change everything. Why? Like, did you erase the fact that George Mason owned slaves? No. He didn't change anything. He didn't change anything about what he did or didn't do however many years ago it was. You didn't change anything. You just changed the name of the school to Meridian. Okay, great. Who cares? So, yeah, it's dumb. Anyway. All right, that's enough for today. We didn't get to a couple other things. We'll talk about them maybe
next week.
Up next week. Just know this on the horizon. They are remaking yet again Miami Vice. We'll definitely have to get into that because it's just a horrible idea. Again, Hollywood's out of ideas.
They're going to call it New Miami Vice.
It's
just
called
like the
Miami Vice 85.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they could make a joke about New Coke in the Miami Vice movie. Maybe a little, Easter egg in there. They could have Crockett or Tubbs like drinking or look at the can, be like, "What is this nonsense?" If they did that, then maybe I would pay my $12.50 or $15 or whatever to go see it. I would do that. But if they're not going to make fun of it being 1985, if they're going to try to make it all gritty like the television show, it's going to suck because you don't have the original Crockett and Tubbs, so it's going to suck.
And you don't have, as I say, there was a vibe and feel to the world when that show came out. And that's also why it worked.
Yes.
And trying to translate that, again, like you just said with some other things, translating the past to the future, thinking it's the same. It's not.
No, it's not going to work. And it's nothing against Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a great actor. I just don't. It's just not going to work. And the other guy who I don't know, you said he played Elvis. Okay,
Austin Butler.
Yeah, Austin Butler. No idea who that is. I'm sure he's a fine actor. He ain't Crockett. It's just not. It just doesn't work. So anyway, all right. Final thoughts before we finish this off.
Just congratulations.
Oh, thanks,
Glad you're here. Glad you're because of all that, we're doing this. So that's the great thing.
Fair enough. And I've got my Knowledge is Power Schoolhouse Rock shirt on today. So, that's something to remember, that knowledge is indeed power.
This concludes this episode of Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhite. Gen X Men is now off the air.